Buenos Aires, a vibrant city known for its rich cultural heritage, lively art scene, and European-inspired architecture. Often called the Paris of the South, it boasts grand boulevards, ornate theaters, and a sophisticated cafe culture reminiscent of the French capital and infused with passionate Latin American energy. Come with me as we explore some of the best neighborhoods, including the historic heart of Montserrat, bohemian San Telmo, colorful Boca, elegant Recoleta, and trendy Palermo. We'll learn a little history, see some stunning architecture, and visit some of the main sites in the city. Buenos Aires is the capital city of Argentina in South America, and it currently has a population of about 15 million in the greater metropolitan area. To gain a deeper appreciation and understanding of the content featured in this travel video, we'll quickly touch on a few key pages from Argentina's history. The Spanish originally founded the city in 1536 and then later re-established the city in 1580 after conflicts with indigenous peoples. The city eventually became a key port for Spanish colonial trade. In 1810, the May Revolution marked the beginning of Argentina's struggle for independence from Spain, and formal independence was declared in 1816. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, European immigrants, especially from Italy and Spain, flooded into Buenos Aires, and they had a huge influence on the city. Grand boulevards, ornate theaters, and French-style architecture that mirrored Paris were built in the city, earning it the nickname of the Paris of South America. This melting pot of cultures also gave birth to tango. The mid-20th century saw the rise of the country's most iconic figure, Eva Perón, or Evita. She was an actress originally from a small farming village in Argentina who became the first lady after marrying President Perón in 1945. She gave hope to the poor and working class by speaking about social justice, workers' rights, women's rights, and the importance of solidarity during challenging times. She also created Argentina's first large-scale social aid network, building hospitals, schools, and housing for the poor. She also pushed for women's right to vote, which was achieved in 1947, and mobilized female voters to strengthen Perón's base. Her legacy resonates deeply in Argentine politics and culture. The Dirty War began as a military coup in 1976 and then became a period of state terrorism with military dictatorship led by General Videla. He targeted many dissidents, including students, activists, union workers, journalists, and anyone suspected of opposition groups. An estimated 30,000 people were kidnapped, tortured, and killed during this period. These individuals became known as the disappeared because victims were taken from their homes or workplaces and never seen again. Families were given no information about their fate, and investigations or criminal prosecutions of those involved continue to this day. Over the years, Argentina has faced repeated economic instability, including hyperinflation and debt defaults. Recent years have seen another period of rapid inflation in Argentina, reaching a peak of nearly 300% annually in early 2024. While inflation has significantly decreased recently and the economy is showing signs of recovery, poverty remains a significant challenge in the country. The poverty rate hit a peak of 52.9% in the first half of 2024, the highest level in 2 decades. However, emerging data and related predictions suggest the poverty rate is improving in 2025. Recent reforms that aim to stabilize the economy remain deeply debated. Hopefully, things will improve for many locals who continue to struggle. And as a visitor, you may experience higher prices than you expected in this country. So I'm here in Plaza de Mayo, which was named after the May Revolution in 1810, which marked the beginning of Argentina's independence from Spain. And there are several interesting historical buildings to take in, so let's go check them out. This is Casa Rosada, or Pink House, the presidential palace dating back to the 19th century. And its pink color is said to represent the unity of 2 political factions, red and white. From this balcony, Evita famously addressed the masses during the 1940s and 50s, with her speeches inspiring hope for the working class. Next, we have the Cabildo, with parts of the building dating back to the early 17th century, and it was originally built as the seat of the colonial government. It was here in May of 1810 that the people demanded the establishment of an independent government for Argentina. And at the center of the plaza stands the May Pyramid, erected in 1811 to commemorate the first anniversary of the May Revolution. You'll also see depictions of white headscarves in the plaza, a tribute to the mothers of Plaza de Mayo who began marching here in 1977 to demand answers about their disappeared children during the Dirty War. Their white headscarves, symbolizing the diapers of their lost children, became a symbol of peaceful resistance against a brutal dictatorship. The Metropolitan Cathedral dates back to the 16th century, but has undergone several reconstructions, and what we see today was completed in the mid-19th century. Pope Francis served as Archbishop here for many years before becoming Pope. Protected by guards is the Mausoleum of General San Martin, Argentina's liberator from Spain. He is one of Argentina's greatest heroes, and his remains were brought here in 1880. 3 statues of female figures represent Argentina, Chile, and Peru, the countries liberated from Spain by General San Martin. And only a block away is the oldest bookstore in Buenos Aires, dating back to 1785. It likely played an important role during the May Revolution, providing new books from Europe with thoughts and ideas about the French Revolution. From Plaza de Mayo, you can take a stroll down Avenida de Mayo and you might feel like you're in Paris. It was designed in the 19th century to rival the grand boulevards of Europe and is lined with beautiful European-inspired architecture. Located on Avenida de Mayo is Café Tortoni, the oldest cafe in the city, opening its doors in 1858. It's been a meeting place for artists, writers, and thinkers in Buenos Aires for many years, and you can feel the history as you step inside this beautiful historic cafe. I ordered a media luna con queso, which is a croissant with cheese, a coffee, and an alfajor, which is a delicious Argentine cookie sandwich made with shortbread and dulce de leche. Don't leave Buenos Aires until you've tried one of these delicious cookies, which you can find everywhere in the city. And don't be surprised if you have to wait in line to enter this cafe, but the wait is worth it if you want to step back in time more than 165 years. Highly recommended. As we continue our walk down Avenida de Mayo, we can see more stunning European-inspired architecture. And our walk along this avenue ends in Plaza del Congreso. Dominating the plaza is the Congress building, completed in 1906, and where Argentina's laws are debated and passed by Congress. A short walk from Plaza del Congreso is the Obelisco, built in 1936 to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the founding of the city by Spanish explorer Pedro de Mendoza. It stands 67.5 meters or 220 feet tall. One of the main intersecting streets of the Obelisco is Corrientes Avenue, known as the Broadway of Buenos Aires. You can stroll down this street to see many theaters reflecting the city's love for the arts. And one block from Corrientes Avenue is Plaza Lavalle, where you can find the famous Teatro Colón, which was designed by Italian and Belgian architects and inaugurated in 1908. It's considered one of the most acoustically perfect opera houses in the world. During the 20th century, Buenos Aires rivaled European capitals in its cultural offerings, which is one of the reasons why the city earned its nickname as the Paris of the South. And near Teatro Colón, surrounding Plaza Lavalle, is more beautiful and interesting architecture. About a 10-minute walk from Plaza de Mayo along Defensa Street is San Telmo, one of the oldest neighborhoods in Buenos Aires, dating back to the 18th century. It's famous for its cobblestone streets, colonial architecture, and bohemian atmosphere. This neighborhood was once home to the city's elite, but after a yellow fever outbreak in the 19th century, it became a hub for immigrants and artists. And it was here in the working-class neighborhoods of San Telmo and Boca where tango first emerged as a new form of dance in the late 19th century. And just off Defensa Street, you can take a stroll down the comic strip walk where you can see some of the most famous characters from the 20th century. And as you continue down Defensa Street, you'll know you're getting close to the famous San Telmo market when you begin to see people handing out samples of delicious dulce de leche. San Telmo Market and its iron structure date back to 1897, and it's still a gathering place for locals and tourists as a bustling hub of local food, crafts, and antiques. definitely one of the coolest markets I've visited during my travels throughout Latin America. It's the perfect place to see many traditional foods being prepared in open kitchens and browse the various market stalls to pick up a unique souvenir from Buenos Aires. Just a little further down Defensa Street is Plaza Durango, a historic square where locals and visitors gather to socialize and shop at various stalls around the square. And I read that on Sundays, the entire neighborhood transforms into a lively outdoor market along Defensa Street when the weather is nice. A short Uber ride from San Telmo is La Boca, a neighborhood bursting with color and creativity. Known for its vibrant, colorful streets and working-class roots, La Boca was shaped by Italian immigrants who settled here in the late 19th century. The iconic Caminito street is a must-see with its brightly colored painted houses and carnival-like atmosphere with many outdoor restaurants and bars. This is a very touristy part of Buenos Aires, but worth visiting to experience the festive atmosphere. Locals will also tell you to be mindful of your wallets, phones, and cameras here, as pickpocketing is very common, so be careful as you wander around this area. So I just arrived in the neighborhood of Recoleta. It's an upscale neighborhood that's famous for a few things, and the first thing I want to see in this neighborhood is an old bookstore that used to be an old theater that dates back to the year 1919. It was converted into a bookstore in the year 2000. It's supposed to be one of the most beautiful bookstores in the world. Next, I want to make a stop at the Recoleta Cemetery, where they have the big mausoleums and where we can go and see the mausoleum of Eva Perón or Evita. And finally, there is a famous metallic statue here that is a metallic statue of a flower that opens in the morning based on hydraulic system, opens in the morning and closes in the evening. And so we'll check that out as well, and we'll see what else that we can find along the way as we explore. Definitely one of the most beautiful bookstores I've ever seen. Recoleta Cemetery opened in 1822 and is the final resting place of many of Argentina's elite, including presidents, military leaders, and cultural icons. The elaborate mausoleums reflect the wealth and power of the families buried here. Each tells a different story with names, intricate designs, and haunting statues. Among the thousands of mausoleums here, one stands out not for its grandeur, but for the fresh flowers that adorn its humble black facade. This is the final resting place of Eva Perón, or Evita. The famous moving flower sculpture known as the Floralis was unveiled in 2002 as a stainless steel sculpture controlled by hydraulics. Each morning, the metallic flower opens and every night it closes. Its creator, the Argentine architect Eduardo Catalano, said the sculpture was a synthesis of all flowers and a symbol of hope that is reborn every day. The neighborhood of Palermo, and particularly Palermo Soho, is known for its boutique shops, restaurants, and cafes that spill onto the street, as well as its lively atmosphere and nightlife. Many visitors choose to base themselves in this neighborhood during their stay in Buenos Aires. But even if you choose not to stay in this area, it's a very pleasant neighborhood to explore on foot with tree-lined streets and many great eating and drinking options. However, I wish this neighborhood had a few more pedestrian-only areas so you could fully enjoy its ambiance without being distracted by the constant car traffic all around you. For those looking for a peaceful oasis nearby in Palermo, I recommend heading to the Japanese Garden for a tranquil escape from the traffic and city noises. Not only is the Japanese Garden peaceful, but visitors can enjoy the scenic beauty. The gardens are filled with cherry blossoms, bonsai trees, and other plants native to Japan. Gardens are maintained with great care, and you can see why they are a popular spot for photography, meditation, and relaxation.